Okay, so on this logo redesign part two, we're actually mimicking what it's like when you create a logo. That was part one. You saw this is part one, and now we're creating part two, where you create different version of the same logo. So you can see like this one has a shadow effect over here. This one does not, and this one actually is simplified with just this one actually just has the logo, no words. This one has a word and more simplified kind of logo there. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to click on this file and open up our image that we actually, the logo part one that you saved. So you might need to download that from your Canva file again. So on your assignment, your grade is going to be based on you creating the logos here, and also that your layers have the correct layers. So it means the text has to be on the text layer, colors, alternate, and the camera logo. Okay. So I'm going to go to logo one, part one, and start with where we left off. So I'm going to just close layers file here. I'm going to start with creating a rectangle. Click on this. Just click once. And now the width is going to be 3.5 inches and the height is going to be 2 inches here. So the width is 3.5, height is 2. Click OK. Now what I'm going to do is I need to round off the corners, the top corner here and the bottom corner. Okay, corner. That's with the direct selection tool. So I'm going to actually, if I click and drag here, it's going to grab all four corners. I do want to do that. So click Edit, Undo. Now I'm going to just click once, click and release on this one corner. So I clicked and release. Now I actually click and drag again. And this green dot is going to be kind of vertically in the same line as this other middle dot. And this is one corner. Now I'm going to click and release on that corner. Now it's selected. Now I'm going to green this one about right here. So all three of those dots should be in the kind of like same line there. Okay. Now I'm going to click on Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste. So that way it's two different shapes there. Okay. So the first shape, I need to click eyedropper tool, and it needs to be white. The second one, you can actually see the eyedropper tool. It just means this yellow. That's exactly what we did here. The white and the yellow. Okay. Now what I need to do is, oh, sorry, I need to click on this yellow again. The selection tool. Now I need to copy this. So edit, copy, and then edit, paste. So now this one needs to be spacebar, hold the spacebar, and just drag it over. So this one I need to simplify it. So I'm going to double click and to isolate it. So now this yellow, this darker yellow, hold the shift key down, and this lighter yellow, those need to be kind of united together with this pathfinder tool. Okay, those are both in the properties panel. So now I'm going to click on this gray here and this lighter gray. So I have both those selected. Now you add those together again. So those, I'm taking out the shadow effect. Okay. So I'm going to double click, unisolate. Now direct selection tool. Now this yellow, it's darker there. So I need to actually make it lighter with the eyedropper tool. It needs to be this yellow, same yellow. Okay. And now with the direct selection tool, I need to make sure all three of those are in the same gray. So this one, hold the shift key down. Now the lens and the flash, the lens, and these three little shapes in the corner there. So they all need to be eyedropper tool, and they need this second gray. Okay. And so click on the selection tool. It's all of it's grouped together. So now if I actually move that all together, it's going to distort it. I'll hold shift key down so that I can actually make it the right size there. It's a little bit smaller. So that should be right size. So now what I do is I click on that again, edit, copy, edit, paste. So now this one here, what I'm going to do is actually take out what I don't want. That's with the direct selection tool. Oh, I'm sorry, with the selection tool here. I'm going to click on this to isolate it. I don't want the circle. So backspace, delete it. I'm going to zoom in to it, and I'm going to select off and delete the outlines. So this outline I don't need. So backspace. The outline here I don't need, backspace, and the outline there. backspace again. Double click, and it's unisolated now. And so now, the last thing I have to do is I need to actually cut that out. So double click again, isolate it, okay? And what I'm going to do is actually select this yellow. Now hold the shift key down and select this little lens, this, I guess the flash, I guess. And what I'm going to do is actually minus front here. So it's going to take that out, okay? So now I need, the last thing I do is I click on this and backspace to delete it. And this little flare, backspace to delete that. So now everything should be this, click on the eyedropper tool and it should be the gray color. Everything's actually coming to gray. But now I need to kind of drop everything down, the opacity down to 30% and click enter. So now everything's dropped down, okay, to this gray here. And then what we're going to do is actually just make sure it's the right size. Again, holding the shift key down to resize it. Make it a little smaller. So it should be right there. And the last thing I need to do is hold Alt key down. Now I can grab my camera and click on, just drag over everything. Now I'm going to create it, edit, copy, and edit, paste. Now this one here, I did the same thing. So this one, eyedropper tool, and this gray here, but then drop down to opacity down to 30%, 30, and enter. And that one's that. And now I'm going to click on the direct selection tool, Alt key, hold and scroll in. Now just grab the top here, just the top colors. Okay, those all need to actually be the eyedropper tool. It needs to be this lighter color. Okay, hold the space bar down and drag it over. So grab the light color. Okay. For some reason, actually, it's I can click on the direct selection tool. Right. So I need to delete this, the A's and the middle of the E. I'm not sure why it came back, but we can delete those. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is actually click on yes, the drag selection tool, and click window here and click on just the bottom parts here. And those all need to be eyedropper tool and the second one here. Oh, I missed one section here. This M here needs to be the second one here. Okay. So I deselect here and hold Alt key and zoom out. So then I can click everything here. Hold the shift key down to resize things a little bit smaller here. And then make sure it's about the right size. Make it maybe a little bit smaller here. Shift key. Make it a little smaller. I'm going to zoom in. So it should be, that should be, and this one should be like over here. There. And what you're going to do now is we're going to do is just grab this one. And what I'm going to do is rotate that. Okay. I'm going to click the rotate tool. It's going from the center here. That's where the light blue rotation center. Hit enter. And this one should be, the angle is 10%. And click OK. And then we're going to use actually hit the selection tool. Make sure everything is selected here. And move it on to where it should go. Now I'm going to select the other one here. And rotate tool. Hit enter. And this one should be another 10 degrees as well. OK. Selection tool with everything selected here. Now bring that in here. The last thing I have to do is just make sure that all the correct layers are selected. So first off, I'm going to change layer 3 to text. I'm going to rename it as text. Okay, enter. And now I'm going to create this one. Should be renamed this as Alt 1, Alt 1, enter. And now everything on this layer should be Alt 1. So I'm going to grab this little green little square, come into Alt 1. So now everything's on Alt 1. I create a new layer. So I need to rename this. Click on the layer 5, ALT, space 2, enter. Okay. So now everything on this other thing here, I've just went around that. So now this green square should come up to Alt 2. Okay, that's everything on Alt 2. New layer, double click on this one, should be camera, ERA, enter. So now this thing right here, everything is grouped together. So now just the green should come up to camera. Okay, so now I have everything on the same layer, just like the example there. Just everything is on the same background, colors, text, Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 2, Alt 1 and 2, and then camera. Okay, so now I actually can save that file, save as, and we're going to save the computer, and we're going to save it as like logo part 2, right? Save and say OK. And now we're going to go back to Canvas. And so this is actually what it would look like again if you need to actually have that. So I click on Start Assignment. I click on Choose. And I go to my downloads. Okay, and I go logo part 2. Okay. And I can click Open and Submit. And that should finish it. Thanks for watching.